Earlier this year, an art book about my work was published with a company that we do a lot of projects with, Flame Tree, and I was very excited to have a collection of my work together in a book. And it was also a project that John and I were able to work on together because John wrote a lot of the text for the book.
Yes, I was honoured to be asked to write some paragraphs that introduced the sections in the book of Anne's artwork, and then Anne wrote the paragraphs that explained the pictures and gives a little insight into not only the meanings but sort of the influence behind each painting.
So the book is split up into a number of sections. We felt that was important, didn't we? Because one of the wonderful things about fantasy art is there's so many different subjects that you can paint, and I really enjoy the range of different things that it's possible to do. And as a result of that, we've had various different sections. Like the first one is Allure of the Dark, so that is all about Gothic style. Also, we've got Realm of Dragons, we've got an Enchanting World, we've got a steam-powered section, and then other sections on inspiration and process, and obviously the introduction and some step-by-step.
Yeah, which helps, which hopefully will help any upcoming artist out there, just to see how Anne tackles a painting, as it were.
Well, actually, that was one of the things that I was most excited about during the book, really, is that I remember when I was starting off as a teenager and studying art at college, I had a quite wide collection of fantasy art books that I used to study and very much enjoy and be influenced by, and it was really what I felt the pinnacle of an artist's career to have an art book of their work published.
Yes, very much so.
So it's wonderful now to have this collection of my work, and I hope that some young artists who will be the fantasy artists of the future might take some inspiration from some things that I've done.
I certainly will. So as I said earlier, the hardest thing for us, I think, was to narrow down this vast catalogue of Anne's artwork.
We worked on the project with art editor, didn't we?
Yes.
From Flame Tree, Kat,
yes.
who was a very long-suffering and very good at her job.
She was
and
very
helped
good
us with that project.
And I think she did steer us in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it'd have been about this thick.
Yes, although we haven't got every artwork by any means that I've painted, we've got an interesting selection.
Yes, and from the start of your career, which is I think people will like to see, was the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Which was fun to go over after all these years. Okay, so what do you hope people will take away from this book?
Well, I hope they get a little few hours of enjoyment looking through all the fantasy in here, which livens up an otherwise dull world. And I hope they see some of the artworks that we're familiar with in there and find out a little bit about how I did them. And then also, I hope they find some new ones that they perhaps never even knew that I painted. And perhaps it adds a little bit of inspiration for some up-and-coming artists as well.
Exactly, yes. I hope so too.